Bonjour, everybody. This is Tiggy Maximus with Tiggy Maximus Talks, episode 52 on YouTube. Just want to get on here pretty quickly. Talk about two things, really. UFC 284 and Super Bowl 57. So let's get into it, guys. So on Saturday, UFC 284 was coming from Australia. Great card, a lot of great fights. It was headlined by a lightweight championship. Islam Makhachev, the champion, was defending his lightweight championship against 145 champion Alexander Volkanovski, who was trying to get both belts, become double belt, two belt. Um, Unfortunately, um, Alexander Volkanovski came up short. Um, it was unanimous decision for Islam. Uh, Two judges had scored it 48-47 for Islam and 49-46 for Islam. Myself, I had it 3-2 Islam. I actually gave Islam the first round, the second round, and the fourth round. I did give Alexander the third and the fifth round. Great fight. Um, it kind of went to a few different areas: grappling, stand up, um, and I enjoyed it. And a couple of times, you kind of saw the strength of both fighters being challenged, and it meant to be an epic fight. And myself, I really enjoyed it, and I actually do not have a problem with these two fighters fighting again each other down the road. And with Islam retaining his championship, he will probably be facing a lineup of challengers, probably starting with Benil Darush, who might be next in line if they don't want to run it back with Justin Gaethje or Charles Oliveira or Dustin Poirier or anyone else at 155. Barrel Darush has been winning his fights left and right, and he does have a nice argument for a title shot, so they might actually just give it to him. Um, and with that being the case, Alexander Volkanovski will be going back down to 145 most likely, and he will try to unify the 145 championships because there was an interim championship match on the card. Yair Rodriguez had a second round submission victory over Josh Emmett to become the interim champion at 145. So Yair Rodriguez and Alexander Volkanovski will be facing each other very, very soon to unify the championships. So, other stuff on the card, we got Della Maddalena. He ended up overwhelming Randy Brown and got the rear naked choke in the first round. Just over 2 minutes. I had Della winning this one and just really just outmatch, outclass Randy Brown. Um, so that was pretty impressive, and can't wait to see Della Maladela win and go up in the welterweight ladder and challenge anyone in the top six, top seven. So next up we have Tafa and Porter. That one didn't last very long in the heavyweight division, as you know most heavyweight fights tend to be sometimes. Um, Tafa was able to clock Porter, and Porter just crumbled. And that was pretty much your matchup in just over a minute. So kudos to Tafa for the victory. Um, the fight that started the main card of UFC 284, Jimmy Crute and Alonzo Menifield. That one ended up as a majority draw. Um, Alonzo Menifield, I believe, was deducted a point for grabbing the cage. And from the looks of it, with the scores 29-27 for Crute and 28-28, 28-28, that tells me with the point deduction that Alonzo Menifield would have won 29-28 for the split decision, but fortunately he was caught grabbing the cage, and there was no warning. And well, not true. I mean, I would have to watch the fight beginning to end again, just to make sure that if there was a warning, but then he made sure that he, did it again, and it was blatant, and trying to prevent himself from being taken down by grabbing the cage. And if the referee saw them more than once, then they have, you know, no reason to hold back and start deducting points as they see fit. So, what else is on the card? We have a featured prelim, Pedro and Bukakis. Um, that was a pretty decent fight. Technically, I did have Pedro winning, but Bukakis ended up winning by unanimous decision. There was also Kulibao and Bakatas. I had Baghdad winning, but Kulibao got it with a rear naked choke in the second round, so kudos to Kulibao. I did get Rodriguez over Ross. It was punches, 59 seconds in the first round. Um, also had Prado picked, but Malarkey did defeat Prado by unanimous decision. It's a nice way to introduce Prado into the UFC. And then we have Jenkins beating Shanus. Um, you also had Luke Boonmi beating Reed. I actually had Reed beating Luke Bunmi, but yeah, that didn't go so well. We had Builder defeat Young. I think I might have said Young was going to win that one. Not sure. Maybe. And then the fight that started the whole entire card for UFC 284. Brenner did defeat Tukhagonov. What's weird is that Tukhanov was actually the big favorite in this one, and he pretty much got upset by Brenner. So those are your results from UFC 284. A lot of great fights though. Got your mixed bag of results, decisions, knockouts, submissions, and of course your occasional controversial main event. So I could see how some people might think that Alexander Volkanovski might have won, um, but as I watched the live, I think my initial judgment was to give Islam 3-2. Um, I think someone else also thought that maybe it was 4-1. Um, I mean, I guess you can make an argument for that too, but I really felt that the first, second, and fourth round it really did go to Islam, and 3 and 5 went to Alexander. So, but again, they might be facing each other down the road, maybe towards the end of 2023 or early 2024. So they might be put on some fireworks the next time they fight each other, and they might actually be on a roller coaster. Um, what is it called? Two trains that are on a collision course once again. So, um, I mean, they're both pretty dominant in their weight class, and whether or not they might have provided a blueprint for everybody else in their own respective divisions to try to figure out a way to beat these two champions, but if they're two at the top of their peak and they're just beating people left and right, I mean, they're gonna find a chance to find their way back to each other and do this, run it back. So, um, anytime you have a sequel or a trilogy and both fighters are really at their peaks and they could literally beat each other, um, I mean, make it really more of a coin flip as to see who's the better fighter. Uh, I think is a big treat for a lot of us to be able to see this in this time and age, and it's happening at the same time actually. So these type of super fights are what the fans would want to see. Matchmakers know they have gold on their hands by pitting two um, top tier athletes at the height of their talents and the peak of their performances in their careers. And both fighters are not only are champions in their own weight classes, but they're both hitting all their cylinders right now. No sign of retirement anytime soon, and they both can be on their ways for having like the longest line of defenses in a row. And it just makes sense that they're going to face each other maybe once or twice more down the road. So I like to see where this is going to go. I mean, it was no way lopsided. I mean, if anything, had Alexander did more damage in round five, you might have had a 10-8, which might have nullified any kind of advantage from Islam from the previous four rounds. So, um, but yeah, uh, let's see what happens next. Um, can't wait for the next big one. Next big one is actually March 4th, UFC 285 um, heavyweight championship that's vacated right now. Is going to be contested by Bones Jones, who's making his UFC debut at heavyweight. And you have former title challenger, former interim heavyweight champion Cyril Gane. They're going to be fighting each other to take that vacated heavyweight championship. It should be a good matchup. I always find both of them to be very similar to each other, very mobile, and as fighters, and should be a make for a great fight. It might actually go all 5 rounds. Uh, but yeah, um, let's talk about Super Bowl 57. So that was on Sunday in Glendale, Arizona, the home of the Arizona Cardinals. Um, the stadium is called State Farm Stadium. I guess they changed it from University of Phoenix Stadium. Um, so you have the Chiefs, number one seed from the AAFC, and you have the Eagles, who are the number one seed in the NFC. Um, Great football game. Um, Eagles had gone ahead 24-14 by halftime. It was 7-7 after the first quarter, but it seemed like the Eagles had the upper hand. Um, but the Chiefs found a way to rally back and they managed to get ahead 35-27. Um, Mahomes did get some great passes to Travis Kelsey. Um, there was a fumble recovery for a touchdown by the defense of the Chiefs. So score went up to 35-27. So Eagles needed to figure out a way to get back into it before the fourth quarter was going to end. And the Eagles did manage to get a drive. Jalen Hurts led the team to make sure that it got to be 35-35. And now it was going to make for an interesting, I think it was like, what, 4 or 5 minutes left in the game. And Mahomes, even though he did come in a little under 100% healthy, but um, he did not take any sacks in the game. So that gave him time to think. Knew he had protection. Now, granted, the field was kind of crappy, though. Um, I can tell that players were slipping, and Eagles defensive players were trying to get to Mahomes, but they were just slipping on the edges a few times, and they can never get to Mahomes the entire game anyway. I'm pretty sure it was the same thing for the Chiefs when they tried to get to Jalen Hurts. So I don't know if there's um, any actual um, sacks recorded in this game, and you could always attribute that to the field being very crappy. Um, but yeah, um, so interesting part. So the Chiefs managed to get down the field, and it got down to like maybe like I want to say a minute 48. It was third down, and the Chiefs threw a pass to Juju Schuster, but there was a holding penalty, and what ended up happening was because of that holding penalty that gave the Chiefs a first down. And I believe on the very next play, the Chiefs handed the ball to McKinnon, and he almost ran it in for a touchdown, but he had the smart football IQ to take a knee at the one. Um, so that gave the Chiefs a chance to run down the clock and give themselves a game-winning field goal with only a mere like 6 seconds left in the game. Um, so with that being the case, Chiefs kicked the field goal from like I think 21 yards out, went up 38-35, and that left the Eagles with I believe it was 8 seconds left in the game, and I think they took 2 seconds to I guess to field the kickoff return, and then um, like got some yardage, and then took 2 seconds off the clock. So now they get to run one play basically, but Jalen Hurts didn't have the arm to throw it all the way down to the end zone. So the Hail Mary pass that Jalen Hurts threw with 6 seconds left in the game, it was about 30 or so yards short of the end zone, and it was like nowhere close to an Eagles receiver. And there you have it, incomplete pass with no time left. The Kansas City Chiefs win the Super Bowl 57. This is now Patrick Mahomes' second Super Bowl championship in his sixth season in the NFL, fifth season as a starter. So kudos to Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. There'll be a lot of teams ready to try to take down the Chiefs in 2023 before Super Bowl 57, which will be held in, I believe, Las Vegas. So it should be fun. I'll be going to a couple of games at SoFi Stadium for the Chargers and Bills, Chargers and Cowboys. So those should be fun down the road. And hopefully the Chargers can compete with the Chiefs, and hopefully they can knock them off before they make the Super Bowl. So cross my fingers. Just a heads up. I'll be talking about comedy shows in my next episode. I'll be going to a comedy show Wednesday night at the Pally Wine with Cash Comedy. I'll be at the Mic Drop on Friday for Johnny Young Summers. I'll be at the Mic Drop again with Camille Waters for her Outside Black Comedy or Black Outside Comedy. I think it's called one of the two. And then I'll be going up to Hollywood for the Hollywood Improv with Rich Kassler, Sarah Halstead, and Jennifer Sturger. So it should be a fun weekend of comedy shows, and I'll be looking forward to talk to you all about it, and a mention of the WWE's Elimination Chamber, which will be happening on Saturday. So tune in, guys, and hear me talk about all that stuff. Well, guys, this is Tiggy Maximus signing off. Have a fun week, guys. Be safe, and I'll talk to you guys all later. Booyaka!